This is Now. First at noon today, Honolulu police have identified the woman who was found dead in a Manoa storm drain.
Now they want the public's help finding her killer.
Honolulu police are asking for the public's help in finding witnesses in the murder of Christina Baca. This past Friday at around 1 p.m., the 50-year-old was found unresponsive in a storm drain near the University of Hawaii faculty housing on Dole Street. An autopsy revealed that Baca had suffered several gunshot wounds and was in a state of decomposition. Her death has been ruled a homicide. HPD believes the incident happened on Monday, September 9th at around 2 a.m. She was last seen wearing a yellow one-piece bathing suit and an aloha print dress. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 955-8300. The merger between Hawaiian Airlines and Alaska Airlines is taking its next step forward. The U.S. transportation officials now say the two airlines can go ahead with the plans after a DOT review. But several conditions must be met, including the preservation of several routes, including inter-island service. The airlines must also maintain the value of traveler reward systems. We'll be sure to keep an eye on this story throughout the day and bring you any updates on HawaiiNewsNow.com. And now to our other big story. Florida law enforcement authorities just announced that they will be bringing their own charges against 58-year-old Ryan Wesley Routh. They'll run a simultaneous investigation with the feds. He's already facing 2 federal firearms charges for the assassination attempt against former President Trump. We are learning that he came to Hawaii about 6 years ago and lived in a ka'a'awa house owned by his fiancée, Kathleen Schaefer. We reached out to her but have not yet heard back. Yesterday, local and national media outlets staked out the house, expecting to see federal agents execute a search warrant, which usually happens when the suspected assassins are being investigated. But the only law enforcement there was an HPD blue and white vehicle, which was parked nearby. We're learning about possible new activity at the home today, though details are still unfolding. Routh claimed he was recruiting soldiers to fight in Ukraine, which may be his motivation because the former president has resisted support for the country. Local advocates for peace in Ukraine say he was never involved in their group or its demonstrations.
I immediately went and searched for, anybody who was in the group because I'd never heard of him or seen him. And I had to ask for them to spell out his name so I could research it and find out for myself. I am an advocate for peace, and I really just did not want any association with any violence. I mean, I'm definitely, relieved.
Routh's business, Camp Box Builders, claims to have built tiny homes, ADUs, and restroom facilities all around Oahu. Looking now to the campaign trail overall as both candidates continue their push to swing voters amid a very heated political climate. NBC's Alice Barr has more from Washington.
2 days after a second apparent assassination attempt against former President Trump, the candidates are back out on the campaign trail amid growing calls to tamp down heated political rhetoric. President Biden and Vice President Harris both forcefully condemning political violence.
There's no place for political violence in our country.
That as the vice president took questions today from the National Association of Black Journalists in Philadelphia. Former President Trump holding a town hall in Michigan after greeting the Florida sheriff's deputies who arrested Ryan Routh, the man suspected of pointing a rifle out of the tree line near where the former president was golfing on Sunday. Mr. Trump has been blaming the attempts on his life on Democrats' rhetoric, calling him a threat to democracy, even as he told Fox News that President Biden and Vice President Harris are, quote, people that want to destroy our country. It is called the enemy from within. They are the real threat, he said. Overnight, the former president describing his phone call with President Biden.
He called up to make sure I was okay. He couldn't have been nicer.
And praising his protectors.
The Secret Service did an excellent job.
Investigators say a Secret Service agent monitoring the area ahead of former President Trump spotted a rifle barrel and opened fire. The suspect never fired, but cell phone records show he did camp out undetected for nearly 12 hours. The acting Secret Service director ordering a paradigm shift.
We need to get out of a reactive model and get to a readiness model.
To deal with the alarming threat level, while noting former President Trump already has the highest levels of protection. President Biden has called on Congress to consider more resources for the Secret Service, though it's not just money, it's training to get more agents into place. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
In other national news, Sean Diddy Combs has been indicted on serious charges in what prosecutors call a long-running sex trafficking operation. He pleaded not guilty, and his attorneys say the music mogul will fight with everything he's got. CBS's Michael George has more on this story from New York.
A bombshell indictment against a man once at the top of the music industry, charging Sean Diddy Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. All of it, prosecutors say, occurring for decades, impacting multiple victims.
Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics.
U.S. Attorney Damian Williams says Combs used his business enterprise and employees to facilitate these events.
These events were allegedly recorded, and the government has those recordings. That's going to make it extremely difficult for Diddy to defend himself if those recordings show coercion or violence.
Prosecutors showed images of weapons gathered from the Homeland Security raids on Combs' mansions in Los Angeles and Miami back in March. The U.S. Attorney also referred to the disturbing 2016 hotel video of Combs assaulting former girlfriend Cassie Ventura, whose civil lawsuit set off a cascade of legal claims against Combs. Combs' attorney expressed confidence heading into court.
He's going to fight this with all of his energy and all of his might and the full confidence of his lawyers.
Combs faces a mandatory minimum of 15 years in prison and as long as life behind bars if convicted on the 3 felony counts. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Some viewers may find this next story disturbing. A mass rape trial is underway in France, and today the lead defendant admitted to drugging his wife and recruiting dozens of men to abuse her for a decade. Tina Kraus has the details.
Supporters rallied around 72-year-old Giselle Pellico as she faced cameras for another day, and her ex-husband admitted in a French court he orchestrated her mass sex assaults. Dominic Pellico told judges, "I am a rapist like the others in this room," referring to 50 co-defendants also accused of raping his now ex-wife. Only 15 admitted, with most saying they only took part in sexual acts. Pellico testified he loved Giselle well for 40 years and badly for 10, apparently referring to the decade when he drugged her to sleep and abused her, inviting dozens of men to allegedly attack her in her own bed as he took thousands of videos. The trial has been going for 2 weeks, sparking outrage across France, with thousands demonstrating to support Giselle and demand an end to rape. The plaintiff says she's dedicating her court fight to all women and men around the world who are victims of sexual violence. Earlier this month, Giselle testified she worried she was getting Alzheimer's or a brain tumor because of hair and weight loss and unexplained amnesia. Investigators say those were side effects of the drugs her husband was giving her. Tuesday, Pellico testified he tried to stop, but his addiction was stronger, adding he had a traumatic childhood and was raped himself. He begged for the forgiveness of his wife, children, and grandchildren. Giselle responded, saying, "For 50 years, I lived with a man who I would have never imagined could be capable of this." Tina Kraus, CBS News.
The man accused of killing an Oregon nurse with Hawaii ties is now charged with first-degree murder. Bryce Schubert was originally charged with second-degree murder and kidnapping in the death of his neighbor, Melissa Jubain. The 32-year-old was found dead just weeks after getting married in Haleiwa. Today, Schubert appeared in court via video from his county jail cell, where he entered a not guilty plea. The details of the crime remain sealed. Schubert is due back in court October 15th. Kilauea is erupting again and activity is increasing today. It's in the Middle East Rift Zone about 9 miles from Halema'uma'u. This is new video of geologists collecting fresh lava at the site in Napau Crater this morning. They put the molten lava into a bucket and it's rapidly quenched by water. This process preserves geochemistry and provides clues about conditions in the magmatic system and its pathway to the surface. On Sunday night, 2 fissures opened up and the lava covered about 4 acres. That eruption ended in about an hour. But the USGS says lava once again broke the surface yesterday at around 6 p.m. Officials say eruptive activity increased in the 4 a.m. hour this morning. Thankfully, this is in a remote area and there is no threat to life or infrastructure. Chain of Craters Road and other areas remain closed, and the volcano alert level has been raised to a watch. Happening today, hundreds of Native Hawaiians will be gathering on the Big Island for a historic convention. The 3-day event will feature discussions and workshops focused on the Hawaiian culture. Lacey Denise takes us there.
Very excited to be here for the CNHA's Native Hawaiian Convention. Right now, I'm in the Grand Promenade area. So this is where a lot of the activity and action is going to be happening. I want to give you a quick tour. To my left, we have the check-in area. We're expecting about 1,700 people that have registered. And then if we pan over this way, we have the ballroom areas where there's going to be about 100 breakout sessions, discussions, and different people speaking. And one of the people who has the big kuleana to make this all happen, we're talking about Manoa, the senior advisor for CNHA. Aloha kakahiaka.
Aloha Lacey and aloha team HNN.
Okay, so one of the exciting things every time I speak to Mehana is the outfit. So who are we wearing this morning?
So this is Manoa, classic Manoa, and I love it because it doesn't wrinkle.
I love it.
I can throw it in the bag, throw it on, and walk a mile from my hotel room. Yeah, to here.
Speaking of walking a mile, Mehana has been part of the team that's worked so hard to put this together. We have some shoes on that we're ready to.
Bubba, please don't stop me. But it is Jordan's, Bubba, so hopefully it's good. I hope the Manoa team can, appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you for all of your hard work to make this happen. We're standing in front of the makeke.
I'm so excited for it to open. There's things I've been eyeing up, as they were setting up. So I want to get in there, and I know that our crowd, as they come down to register, please shop local, buy local. Our friends are all inside there selling their wares, so it'll be amazing.
Awesome. And Mehana, the fashion, the cultural, there's so many different aspects to this, but there's also something for the opio as well to take part in.
Yeah, we have an aho opio that's going to take place both today and tomorrow, and then the opio get to kind of go and mix in with the larger convention after that. And it's an exciting opportunity for them. They're coming from all the islands. There's over 200 of them. They'll get to see each other. Some of these youth have never been exposed to large convention style activities, so hope this is one or their very first, and within a blink of an eye they'll all be back here as adults very soon. So
something for everybody from kupuna down to opio. Mehano Kala'ahain, thank you so much for joining us. If people still want to register, are they still able to?
I'm not sure if the registration is open, but if you're on Hawaii Island, there's some events that are happening here. The makeke is open to the public. I know we have a fashion show that's happening tonight too. I'm super excited for. Yeah, I'm trying to audition actually to get in the line, but none of them called me up yet, so it's okay. Yeah.
Well, you're totally invited. We'll be cheering bring you on, Mehana. Thank you so much for coming this morning. I know you have a lot of work to do.
A tucked-away beach on the edge of Diamond Head is attracting crowds on mopeds, but signs and citations are not keeping them away. As Eddie Dowd reports, neighbors are worried more people will get hurt.
College students tell me Makalei Beach Park is now the new chill spot. The only problem, there's no legal place to park, but that's not stopping some moped operators, and it's prompting safety concerns. The beach is right off Diamond Head Road, where vehicles coming down the hill often pick up speed before coming around a curve near the park.
This road is excessively fast. Nobody follows the 10-mile-an-hour thing.
Neighbors say the mopeds create hazards as they come and go. And there have been crashes, the latest just this Sunday, involving a moped right in front of the park, where EMS treated a 20-year-old in serious condition.
We don't want anybody to get hurt, but between the speeding and the mopeders, it's just a very bad recipe.
It's unclear if moped riders are ignoring the no parking signs or just can't see them.
The solution is get a bigger sign that's at eye level.
I actually didn't see the sign. What does it say?
No mopeds.
No mopeds. Oh my gosh, we didn't see that.
City Council member Tommy Waters says he got the city to put up those signs, and police have been issuing tickets. He says he's also reached out to colleges to educate students.
When I went down there on the weekends to check it out, I'd say 3 or 4 dozen mopeds. My office has received numerous complaints from the neighbors.
I feel like it's kind of hard. It's a hard subject because then again, like, this is kind of the only place to park if you want to come to this beach. Yeah. But I do understand why people get frustrated because it's just a lot.
I'm working with the administration to try to find a solution. I mean, we want the park to be used by everyone, right? It's a beautiful park right there on the ocean.
One of the possible solutions being discussed is to have a chain installed across the entrance of the beach park to stop moped operators from getting access, but it's unclear whether that will happen or if it will really solve the issue. Eddie Dowd, Hawaii News Now.
All right, let's take a live look outside. On the Big Island, this is Kilauea. Again, there is an active eruption going on there, but it's in the Middle East Rift Zone, about 9 miles from Halema'u, in a remote area, so there is no threat to life or infrastructure. But beautiful day out there. We're going to have a check on your forecast and more news after this quick break.
nails it on this Tuesday. Midway through the 4th month of hurricane season, it's still very quiet here in the Central Pacific. No cyclonic activity expected anytime soon. So things are looking good. And it's fairly dry this morning. There are clouds upstream, but those clouds are not holding much in the way of meaningful rainfall. So aside from a stray shower or two, it should be fairly dry for the next few days. And these winds will run pretty firm today and tomorrow. We're expecting them to ease up slightly starting Thursday and Friday. All in all, it's going to be very, very nice today with lots of sunshine, a few morning showers for a handful of windward spots, really nothing in terms of significant rainfall. Lots of sunshine, though, will drive temperatures into the upper 80s, but those trade winds will run firm. That'll help to keep us cool and make it from being too humid. Now, because of tonight's full moon, we've got astronomical high tides that could lead to some minor flooding for some coastal areas. Heads up on that. And because of the breezy winds, still got some choppy conditions. Small craft advisories posted for the east end of the state. Surf's going to be relatively small for the next few days. Next week, Monday, Tuesday, we could see a pretty good size northwest swell. Otherwise, the biggest waves continue to roll into the east shore. But of course, the deal there is it's going to be quite choppy due to those breezy winds. So again, the breezy winds will hold firm probably through Friday. They're going to ease up significantly over the weekend, and that means it's going to be a little stickier Saturday and Sunday.
A new medical respite facility is ready to serve Oahu's homeless population with around-the-clock care. Casey Lund takes us on a tour in Iwilei.
Aloha. We're talking about the old First Hawaiian Bank here off of North King Street. Some modification, of course, outside, some security fencing, and inside really an overhaul, 32-bed facility in there. But what's also cool about this is it's a much bigger project. These 30 kauhale units outside in the parking lot that will serve as transitional housing. And I want to start with Sam Moku. He is the city's director or coordinator for homelessness for the city and county of Honolulu. We also have John Mizuno from the state and Dr. Scott Miskovich. Thank you for being with us today. I want to talk first with you, though, Sam. This happened really quickly.
Very quick. You know, it took a month to build this project out. You know, before I stepped on the property, there was an encampment right behind us there already. And now it's a home for the homeless and where they can get their services and get healed.
Yeah, and again, these are permanent structures for folks. The idea is that they're spending some time here and moving on to something else. John Mizuno is the governor's coordinator for homelessness for the state. What's great about this is the partnership between the city and state, and again, Premier Medical Group, different entities coming together to make this happen. Tell me a little bit about how that happened here.
Right. First of all, Governor and Mayor Blangiardi, Governor Green, they have a great relationship. Second, Sam and I, we went to college together. I mean, we're buddies. Everybody knows that. A great relationship. We know Dr. Miskovich because he's worked with us on a number of health issues and now homelessness. So we're very grateful for the partnership. Strategic partnerships like this will significantly reduce homelessness as well as reduce crime. So we're grateful. Governor has a target. We're looking to get 30 more kauhale before the end of his first term.
That's a tall order.
Absolutely. It went up, believe me, exponentially. But I believe, 30 is the number by the end of his first term.
Very good. John Mizuno with us. And I want to talk to Dr. Miskovich, who was so instrumental in providing care for so many people during the pandemic days, you and your team at Premier Medical Group. And now to see this roll out and things like this, it's kind of about creating a culture, you told me, especially with the people that are working here. They need to understand that they're serving these folks that really need some help.
Yeah, that's something we're really proud of, everybody that we're hiring. And remember, this is a medical facility. It's not just a pure, social homeless facility. So we have RNs, we have EMTs, we have medical assistants. But when we hire them and we put those ads out, it's amazing the people that are coming to us. We care. And everybody has like a first degree of separation of knowing a family member or a friend or a relative who became homeless. And those people just treat these people special. And that is one of the big differences that are occurring right here, right now.
And we've heard from Dr. Jim Ireland from the Emergency Services Department that especially some of the very ill folks that are down here in this district, this segment, they're really leaning on medical services in our hospitals and things. This kind of helps alleviate that burden a little bit.
Oh, it definitely does. And if you would see the med lists these people were on, and number one thing, the amount of heart failure in this group. And I said this to a meeting with the mayor's team 2 weeks ago as we've done analysis of all the medical records. We create medical records for all these individuals. We pull all the data down from all the hospitals. This group, probably at least 15, probably have a life expectancy under 3 to 4 years. Some are under 1 year with how serious their illness is. And we already had 1 natural occurring death in someone with end-stage heart failure. 3 are on dialysis, 5 have cancers. There are people in oxygen and wheelchairs. We need to help care for these people.
Great to see some of this stuff really happening in real time here. And again, as you heard John Mizuno say, this is part of around 30 of these similar facilities that are going to be stood up before the governor's first term ends. We get more information on this project online at hawaiinewsnow.com. For now, we'll send things back into the studio.
Coming up in the next Spotlight now, we catch up with Hawaii Governor Josh Green.
Scott Saiki is now out of his leadership position. What does that mean for the legislature? We catch up with the governor on local politics, 1 o'clock on Tuesday on K5.
Miami Dolphins franchise quarterback Tua Tagovailoa has been placed on injured reserve, sidelining the Eva Beach native for at least 4 games after his latest concussion, his 3rd of his career. In the immediate aftermath of the hit, many around the league wondered if he should consider retirement. Yet reports emerged this weekend that he has no plans of walking away and is intent on playing again. And finally today, do you drink coffee?
No, I don't.
I don't either. Okay, so maybe we should, because there's a new study that says it might be good for your heart. The research found 1 to 3 cups of Joe a day could keep you from developing cardiometabolic multi-morbidity, or CM. That's when you have at least 2 heart and metabolism related conditions like heart disease, diabetes, and high blood pressure. So researchers caution, though, they say since the study is observational, other factors may actually be the cause of your improved heart health. But if you do drink it, you can tell yourself that.
And there's your good news for the day, everyone. Have a good day.